If I have to think about development, the first thing comes to my mind is
What do I think about development?
When I think about development, the first thing that comes up in my mind is
And when I hear the word development, for me, it's like
When I think about the word development,
To me, when I hear development,
For me, development is
Yeah, when I think of development, the first words
When I
that come to
hear
my
the
mind are
word
When
development,
I think of development, I think of
about
When I hear this word development, first of all,
So yes, what is development? When you hear the word development, what do you think of? Before we start the video, why do you comment and let me know your thoughts? Over the weekend, I had 6 wonderful discussions with over 50 young people from 20 or different countries. And this video is a summary of those conversations. I hope this is going to be as fun and interesting to you as it was for me facilitating those conversations. And now I'm going to invite you to go around the world with me. Let's go and enjoy. So the common consensus is that it is complicated.
But I think development is quite complicated.
Complicated than a simple one. So if you are developing, you are bigger and you are more complexity. So that's what is my mind when I think about development.
And then my observation is that it is complicated and complex, mainly for 2 reasons. For example, it is because
about something new.
all of my thoughts are about the future, about something new that should change our present.
it's like more of innovating and just wanting to develop more ideas and interests all over.
for example, innovation. So like, how can we develop and how can we innovate things from the technological point of view, but also like innovation in sense of combining existing things in a different way in order to have new and better output than what we have currently.
What I texted in the chat, industrialization and technology. So development to me is basically the national stage of the industrialization of the country, its technology, its ability to, defend itself from external threats, and the ability to respond to the objective needs of its citizens. So,
I mean, a lot of really good point made, right? It is complex, complicated because it is something new, more importantly, because of the technological innovation. But besides that, there's also another reason I found that people find it complex and complicated, and it is
changes. Development is like changes or the progression of something for a specific purpose. For example, the development of technology, it's like the changes or the progression of technology for the betterment of humans or for some medical purposes. So I think the majority of most of the developments are for the betterment of humans or society and nation as a whole.
development, I think about an undertaking process. And in the perspective of a country, is that the country is developing in every area, let's say, of the economic activity. For example, when it comes to technology, food development, education.
So development for us now, I think, is some kind of growth and evolution to understand this educational movement.
The keywords I mentioned were evolution, goal attainment, and improvement.
So I think it is worth noting that process and changes are a very, very big factor that makes things more complex, but there's a specific direction. Let's hear what the participants have to say.
It's a process to change growth from my part, but it's always in a positive direction and always bring a lot of impact.
So when I heard about the word development, the first thing I think is the same as the French say is the progress. And the second thing is something become better. because development is something that grow up and make the thing to be better, in my opinion. And also how to say, the development is have different scope. So when the first thing I see could be like personal development, and then it could be like a bigger one, like in society development or country development. So it will be a different scope and scale.
That it's a process. I agree to that. And according to me, that in this process, a collective approach has to be focused on, because without a collective approach, this process is nowhere to reach. So I guess China is doing a very good job in it by taking this torch, being a torch bearer of this thing, and leading several countries in this process of development and leading them well. So yeah, that's development to me.
So to sum up, there is a consensus that development is complicated, is complex, mainly because of two reasons. One is because development requires something new, creative, and innovative, particularly in terms of technology. And also is because it requires changes, particularly in the process, but also progress that bring positive impact, and particularly a collective approach will be beneficial to all. But for me, when I first think about development, in most of the time, we think of development as
mostly economic development, so more quality infrastructures in regions, more everything related to economic development.
Subconsciously, the two words that come to my mind are economy and sustainability. But now, if I delve deeper into the actual meaning of development, I think of it in a more holistic manner, whereby it's the kind of policies that you come up with to ensure that you better the lives of everyone in society in terms of the environment, the social part of it, the economy, and also politically as well. So basically, development should be holistic in manner.
Indeed, economic development usually is one of the first things that we associate with development, particularly because we measure development a lot of times using three letters, GDP. But increasingly, particularly among young people, we hear concepts such as the sustainability come up quite a lot.
The first one when I hear of development is about the sustainable development. And sustainable development is development that meets the needs of present and is closely related to technology and design.
It means the strides and policies that have been taken to better human life. It can be in different entities, it can be in different disciplines, science, culture, economy, political. There's so many that encompass, the paths and policies that are being taken to better human life. And for example, what we have in the UN, the SDGs, that is some that I can, give us an example of how we are working towards a better world and to get outstanding outcomes. In Chinese, you say "too poor," so to get to that point.
Breakthrough, right? Breakthrough. Excellent.
Sustainability and I guess emancipation. I guess they're quite different and they're quite general, but I think sustainability is very important because if we're looking to improve living or people's lives, I think it's important that it's sustainable and it can be it's sustainable and can our future generations can also enjoy this success. And emancipation, I guess, would be how I define development is that people can be free or liberated from all their sufferings and constraints and inequalities.
Sustainability or sustainable development, but I will just move a little bit from that. Whenever I personally have this thing, so my mind goes towards the like the animal health, the public health, and as well as the environmental health. It's very crucial. It's very important whenever we go for any development. So we are going to, to intervene to the environment or to the existing system. So this is very important that we need to keep this thing in our mind and focusing on the One Health approach. So by this way, we can just give the very good world or the beautiful world to our coming generation. Thank you.
As we can hear, sustainable development and sustainability is definitely something that young people from all around the world care about. And talking about around the world, this is also something that people associate with in terms of development.
To fulfill all everyone's need can be different, but everyone must fulfill their need. For someone, is development maybe should be in a good fashion sense, and for someone else would be in a good technology sense, or someone else would think peace is more important at this moment. So development for everyone is different for every individual. So we cannot generalize development. So
sustainable is a main important thing about the development, and as well as international development is a program. It brings knowledge and a resource to help communities and the government and the world, as well as the work in the extreme poverty, support the advancement of human rights, and promote resilient democratic societies while advancing global security and prosperity.
And maybe also the history as well, because all these countries, including Chile and China, other developed or developing countries, that we're all in different phases of our development, and that definitely we can have something to learn from each other, because maybe we learn from the what we call the more developed country, but at the same time we might also face different challenges as well. But I think for me is for what I'm thinking is we can definitely find out some similarities and also the differences.
And something that is important to every country because of how far other countries have also come. So to me, development is something that is important and very unique.
Different countries or society could have different developments or advancement, as I said, and as well technologies. But it doesn't mean that one of them could be better or worse than the other. I think that it's only different in the way of development. That's what I think about.
I could not agree more, because when I hear development, the word I can think of or associate with is development path. Because whether it is developing countries or emerging economies or developed countries, nations, they all have their own development path based on their context, history, culture, etc. There's no one single path, and that's what makes all those discussions so fascinating and interesting. And also, I cannot wait to share more content with you in the coming days and weeks. Before I end this video, though, I do want to thank all the participants and young people from around the world who joined me throughout this wonderful weekend dialogue and discussion and conversations. At the same time, I would also want to take the opportunity to thank Tsinghua University and the Global Hybrid Course in partnership with Global MOOC and Online Education Alliance, which is called China's Perspective on Global Development Initiative. Thank you so much for tuning in to this video. I hope you enjoy as much as I did. I cannot wait to see you again. If you find this interesting, subscribe. If you have any comments, any feedback, anything you agree or disagree with, please leave us a comment. I'd love to continue this discussion in the comment section. Until next time, take care and be well. Goodbye.